running out of gas and going nowhere fast.
with a whole lot of full connections. And now they bring the family into it.
Welcome to Cliff Alert. Today we're going to be talking about Own Network's reality-based TV series, Ready to Love, season number 8, episode number 11.
But before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe. Please support this channel with your comments and a like. And please click that notification button so you know when we upload new content. And we thank you and appreciate you for your support. So here we go.
This episode began with Tommy convening the men in the men's lounge for one final time with the 3 remaining gentlemen, Philip, Maurier, and Quentin.
And they had to introduce their strongest connections to their family members.
Maurier was definitely concerned.
Maria seems a little bit indecisive to me. He seems like, he doesn't know who he is.
So you seem to think that he is on both sides of the issue here, right?
I think so. And he's always got to explain himself.
Well, that might
And
be because he keeps saying stuff that's indicative of somebody who inserts their foot into their mouth.
well, he clearly got the foot and mouth disease.
Okay.
And I don't think he recognizes that, so he can stop. And I find it off-putting.
Well, I don't know how you couldn't recognize it because you can't enunciate words with your foot in your mouth.
Well, we start off with
Quentin.
Quentin,
Mm-hmm.
and Quentin brings his cousin,
Darius.
Darius.
Yeah.
And Darius seemed like a jovial kind of guy.
Absolutely. Fun loving.
Quentin have a good relationship. And Quentin goes in and tells Darius, hey, we have 2 ladies. Both of them I like. I just want to see what you think of both of them because they're 2 different kind of women.
And the first one that Darius had the opportunity to meet was Lee.
Darius asked Lee what attracted her to Quentin. And she said when she spotted him at the first meeting, she liked what was happening with that suit and his body. And when they started talking, she found out that he was family oriented.
And Quentin actually, complimented Lee as well. He told his cousin that, hey, man, this young lady's got a sweet nature.
One thing that was caught under Lee's wig was when.
Lee's what?
Under a wig.
Okay. Issue.
Yeah. Lee's issue was how Quentin treated her when they were on
At the getaway
Yes.
weekend.
He was hyper focused on Janelle. She couldn't get a word in edgewise, and she said that she even told him where her bedroom was, and he didn't even follow through on that. And she said she's not in the habit of a man treating her that kind of way, and that really stuck with her.
Yeah, and Quentin couldn't really deny that. He had to admit that he was primarily focused on Janelle.
When Janelle came through, Clinton was lit up like a Christmas tree. And you could clearly see that Quentin has this thing going on with Janelle that is unspoken. What do you like about my boy Quentin?
That she believes or feels like from the very beginning, Quentin has been authentic with her.
He's been interested in her, but here's the problem: the babies, the family. She keeps saying that she's older than he is. What,
Yeah, there's an
5,
age.
7,
There's an age difference. I want to say maybe like
10 years.
somewhere between 7 and 10 years, I believe.
She was adopted, and she's prepared to adopt children herself. She said if the baby making stuff is happening, it has to happen within a year. She said that
Sooner than
earlier.
later.
And the longer it goes, the more things she's going to take off the plate. Now, for me, listening to that, he says in his confessional that he wants to have his own kids.
Yeah, I mean, he's open to the idea of adopting somebody else's kids, but he also wants more directly his own.
Well, that is a huge issue.
That
Massive.
has not been, at least from a viewership standpoint, addressed at all. Quentin is more on the same page with Lee as it relates to that particular issue, the issue of having kids, than he is with Janelle, even though, from my vantage point, Janelle is a stronger connection.
Yeah, but Lee doesn't do a whole lot for Quentin, if you know what I'm saying. Nothing rises a whole lot when he deals with Lee. Something going on with him physically, you could actually see it when he eyeballs Janelle and what she's working with. And as fine as Lee is, and she got the body, even when she throws it on him, he is, playful. He doesn't want to take a bite. That's what I get. Am I wrong?
Yeah, he's up for Janelle, and maybe not as much for Lee.
Yeah, and Quentin wants the weight of that thing on him, and Lee, not so much. So Lee could talk all she wants. Quentin can talk all he wants that he may have a connection with Lee, but his focus, his eyes doesn't light up when she comes through the room.
Well, I think not as much. I think it does, but not nearly as much as Janelle.
All right, well, all
So,
right, my brother. We could have a difference of opinion.
yes, indeed.
So next we go to
Philip.
yeah, and who did Philip meet up with?
Philip had Aunt Tammy and cousin Johnita come through to meet his connections.
Yeah, and that was Aries.
Aries,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
Aries keeps pussyfooting around the issue about this guy's stability, and in fact, I think Auntie asked her if she has any questions about Philip, and she said, "Well, I just want to make sure that he's stable because of the kids, the blended family situation, and how that's gonna work out because he seemed like he's." Reinventing himself, and that doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, the problem that I have with that is not the issue itself, but how she's approaching the issue. She is not coming out and asking directly, well, this is my concern, da 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 da. This is why, da 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 da. Can you respond to that and make me feel more secure about or more comfortable with that? Because right now I'm not at that space or not in that place. Auntie did that, but it didn't seem like Aries picked up on that.
Is she expecting him to read her mind? Because whatever he's gonna read is not gonna be accurate.
Well, I think she when she doesn't deal with it directly, she leaves it open for him to misinterpret exactly what her sentiments are.
He questioned whether she understands what a good thing he is. What will happen if he decides to head out the door?
And I think it was a little bit of projection going on from Philip's end, but he obviously is less confident, shall we say, about what direction both he and Aries are moving than he was maybe a few episodes prior to. He said that, well, if in the event that they don't make it work for some reason, for whatever reason, that it's going to be her loss. It sounded a little bit.
See, I'm sounding presumption.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Presumption.
I just think if
Correctly.
he now understands that she has a problem because he mentions this is the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time this has come up, he should then sit her down and say, "Listen, you're talking about stability. Exactly. Ask me now. What do you need to know so I could put your heart at ease?
You're right.
Because it's now making me feel a kind of way, and it's gonna cause some misunderstanding and friction between us."
I agree with you. The other side of the coin is this. She's an adult woman. She's grown enough to say, hey, look, I have this issue with you from the beginning.
Somebody has to make a move
Right.
because she seems to be bashful or she's not a very good communicator, and he is he keeps projecting that she may be a possible gold digger, and based on what Philip has been putting down, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of gold there. She is withdrawing from him, and he's getting irritated, and he's already talking about her loss. So in his mind, he is already forming an exit strategy.
Well, that was because he keeps hearing the same thing without without any specifics.
Brother knows how to nail a woman down. You nailed me down a couple of times.
Yeah,
You gotta stand still and
and
answer.
and hear that response, be able to process and receive the response. But you may not have it. That may not happen if you don't ask the question.
In any relationship, you gotta have some hard conversations. So you might as well start from the gate.
So in other words, if I'm hearing you correctly, you think Ari should have said, "Phil, are your finances raggedy,
Yeah,
or are they straight?"
approach it as a joke, but approach it. You have options.
Okay.
You're not locked in. He hasn't given you a ring.
It's still early yet. It may be late in the process, but it's still early, relatively early as it relates to them moving down the road, as a pair or a couple. Mm.
Marion meets up with who did he meet up with?
His cousin
His,
Antoinette.
oh Lord have mercy.
What her name again?
Antoinette said Marion means a lot to the family, so she gonna make sure the woman who he's gonna get with is straight.
Yeah, and Marie invited actually
Jessica.
Jessica first, and then Kat
Right.
Katrina behind that.
So Jessica came through and sat next to him, and they chit chat, talked about religion, and Jessica indicated that she is not spiritual. She what her beliefs are, and that was the first thing that was questionable to cousin.
Antoinette,
Right. So when they met with um
Kat.
Katerina. Katerina was pleasant, engaging, but Katerina is faking the funk. She's not feeling Marie at all.
I don't believe so either. I think she's looking for a proverbial dance partner, if you will, to make it to the end of the show.
Yes.
That's the way I kind of feel like it. I don't feel like she really is interested in Marie, even though they have some things in common in terms of their spirituality, common goals, I guess. I think both
The
of them want to,
travel,
yeah, both of them want to live out of the country at some point in
right?
time.
And Jessica doesn't want to go to Africa for an extended period of time.
Right,
That's not her vibe. That's
right.
not what she wants to do.
But I think that it just seems like to me that Katarina is in a position where she knows that she really doesn't have any real connections left, and so she's just trying to make it to the end.
Yeah, he is taking her full attraction to him seriously. When the cousin was asked who she likes for him, she indicated that she liked Katerina
Yeah,
because they had more in common.
yeah, and the other side of that was that Antoinette kind of made a comment that kind of caught me off guard,
Yeah.
where she seemed to describe Jessica as a little uppity, if I
Now,
heard her correctly.
how is she up there? I don't get it.
I don't know how she got there. Now there might have been something that would have led her to say that that she experienced off camera, but what I saw on camera, there was nothing that would have indicated that Jessica was uppity in terms of uh, their conversation or dialogue at the
Now,
table.
is she uppity because she speaks well? She
I don't
dresses
know.
nicely. She had a jacket over her shoulders. That's her style, her aesthetic. Why is that considered uppity?
I don't know.
Her description of who Jessica is may be a little bit premature. And
Excuse
I
me.
was shocked
Mm.
when Maria said, she reminds me of my mama. After the cousin said he seemed to be uppity.
Little uppity.
So is he saying his mama is uppity?
I don't know. Maybe that was another one of those insert foot in mouth
I
moments.
tell you, he got it bad.
Yeah.
He need a prescription for that.
Sometimes it just seems like he don't know what to say. So if you don't know what to say, don't say nothing. After their meeting with families, Philip wanted to kind of clear the air with Aries about some things, and especially this whole notion of security and all stability. So he invited her for a bike ride
Right,
in the park.
right. instead of asking a question, she tells him about past relationships when she did not ask questions, she did not find out stuff, and it was at her detriment. These two grown people clearly don't know how to communicate with each
It
other.
seems like they're dancing around some questions that need to be asked so that clarity between the two of them can come about in a more efficient and effective manner.
That's why he should open the conversation if he's losing patience. What does he have to lose? Well, he could lose a good woman. He said she's one of the finest women he ever met.
Yes,
So if he understands that, maybe she wants the year plan, the 3 year plan, the 5 year plan, the 10 year plan, because she got two sons to think about.
I would think by this point, it's clear that he knows that something is up, and that would be the impetus from my vantage point to initiate the question, to initiate the question between the two of them, and then be prepared to answer it. Like I said, Philip is becoming annoyed and, for lack of a better word, skeptical.
Yeah, write it down. I get nervous, so I wrote these things down, and this is what I want to ask you.
Hmm.
Like they tell you when you go to the doctor, write stuff down
Hmm.
so you could ask them because you have a tendency to forget
Hmm.
because of the space of being in a doctor's office.
Hmm.
So you could do that with your man to write it down. I know when we got together early, I used to write stuff down because I like to gather and collect information. And so I like,
And file it away in case she needs to use it later on against a brother.
why you gotta say it like that though? Well, yeah, that's the whole point.
Hmm.
I need this information. You need to tell me
Hmm.
so I can make a decision. Sharing is caring, right?
Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Lee meets with Quentin at a batting cage to kind of get some things straight about what was, as you said earlier, an issue up underneath her wig, which was the lack of attention that Quentin paid to her the getaway weekend.
Right, and they started off him showing her how to swing the bat, and eventually she got it. But that
Yeah, but he had to help her out, and she backed that thing up on him, and he would never have given Janelle room
no
ever.
would have been right on top of her.
Mhm.
That's the difference.
You can tell that he likes what he sees, but he's not feeling the connection, not nearly as strong from my vantage point as he is with Janelle.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
So she still had that issue,
Mhm.
and he told her some song and dance that, although he's attracted to Janelle, he's attracted to her as well.
Lee as well, yes. Okay.
And she didn't believe the song and dance that he was singing, so she wanted a meeting with Tommy
I mean, even though Quentin apologized for maybe not taking advantage of the opportunity at the getaway to get to know her
to
more,
make him feel like,
right?
she
That
was in the
that
game.
that she is really legitimately, like you said, in the game. Just based on what he's been saying to her. Even though, he's very complimentary of her, she's not buying into this whole notion of yeah, I'm feeling you.
A man gotta know that it's important for a woman to feel special. And if Lee wasn't feeling it, then I think she did the right thing. She went to Tommy, said, "Hey, this is not working out, and I don't want to continue this journey." So she headed out the door.
And said to Tommy that he hadn't made a decision yet. So I'm not
Be-
gonna I'm not gonna give him the opportunity
But
anymore.
his not making a decision was the decision.
Exactly. Marie actually met one on one with Jessica to kind of clear the air about some things that had happened in the last elimination meeting,
Hmm.
where uh, Chris had a meeting with Jessica, and uh, when they talked, Jessica actually shared some details about how that meeting went down, and Chris came out of his face and
And cussed
disrespected
her
her,
out.
yeah, and
Yeah.
cursed her out,
Uh-huh.
and Marie was kind of surprised by that, and
Well, he
because
said that Chris always came across as a certain kind of dude,
right,
and it was shocking to hear how he behaved or how he treated or handled Jessica. They can laugh and talk all they want, but that's not a connection either. I mean, I could be wrong, but doesn't seem like a connection.
FAUX, huh?
Right. So the men eventually met up with Tommy,
Reconvened, yep.
and he wanted to know what happened, and they broke it down for him. And Quentin was saying that he has a dilemma in choosing between Janelle and Lee. Tommy said that, Lee came to me and she told me that she didn't feel like you were in the game, or she meant anything to you, so she decided to leave the process. And he didn't look surprised,
But he said he was.
but he said he was.
Mhm.
But okay.
Well, I think Lee bowed out at the right time and in a way that she could control, the outcome, and I think it was respectable.
I don't think that any of them formed any really true and lasting connection. And the only one that was a possibility was Aries and Phil. And Aries and Phil are not communicating effectively in a way that will help their relationship along.
I think Quentin and Janelle are genuinely attracted to each other, but I think that they have some issues coming down the pike when they have, some more in-depth conversations that are going to be big obstacles.
That baby piece is big.
And let me say this too. I think there's another issue here, right below the surface of that, and that's, how Janelle in particular handles, you know, um, confrontation and issues with respect to Quentin, because remember he was a little put off by the, I guess shall we say, cat fight between Kat and Janelle, a few episodes ago.
But let me give you a different point of view. Janelle is 41, 42 years old. She has been single. She's been taking care of herself for a long time. For a woman who has that independent um tendencies, who knows how to manage and take care of herself, it's a little difficult to sort of conform to another person's way of thinking. And I know for us, that was a big piece for me. I needed some work. And what brought me through? The Lord Jesus and a good therapist.